Hello and welcome to a very special, I guess, side episode of Flywheel. Today, I have Drake on from the FrxETH team, and we are here to commemorate. Well, it's not commemorate because it hasn't happened yet, but we're here to talk about Shappella and what it means for Frax. So, Drake, welcome.
Thank you. Happy Fork Day.
Yeah, exactly. It's finally here. Honestly, it's gotten here a lot faster than I thought it would be.
Yeah, me too. I
Yeah.
I used to not joke. In 2016, I was mining Ether, and everyone said, "You're a fool. We'll have ETH 2.0 in January 2017," and that was 4 or 5 years late. So I had careful expectations for when withdrawals would be available, but certainly exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, because it's been 2 years, hasn't it? Or was it mid 2020? It was mid 2020, right? It's like right when DeFi summer was kicking off. That's when the staking went live. I think ETH was still maybe
That's
like,
when you could deposit, right?
yeah, deposit for the first
And
time. Yeah.
then we did the full transition a year ago.
Yeah, to proof of stake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you were you doing home staking?
I am not at this exact moment. I probably will. I've just been really busy. So I have a node that I run at home, an archive node, but I just haven't gone through the rest of the steps. And I am one of those people, I want to do it, like build it myself, right? As opposed to just buying one, like a box from DAppNode or something. But I haven't had the time to get it set up.
Yeah, I've got one of the little boxes. But again,
Yeah.
like I've just got to sit in. Honestly, it's just easier to buy FrxETH.
And that's true too. You know, the deeper we get into the staking stuff, and you see one of the guys, the infra guys on our team, Alex, you know, and Justin as well, like when they talk about kind of what it takes to kind of operate this stuff at scale, you start to realize that there are serious economies of scale. And the truth is, you're never going to get competitive yields with a single staker.
I've heard differently. Honestly, like I've heard like with all the MEV boost stuff, like if you catch it, it's kind of like pooled together, right? Where you're like you're in it and you're in it, and then all of a sudden you may catch like a 7 ETH MEV block, right? And
yeah, totally.
yeah,
I guess I mean more in terms of utilization of resources in the cheapest way possible. There's an argument, obviously, to be made that the internet's already free for you. A few of that stuff. If you're in a cold place, the electricity using to run your machine is heating your house. So from that perspective, I think that you could make a really strong argument that it is more profitable to be a home staker. But if you don't give yourself those sort of nice to haves, I think it starts to be slightly less efficient.
yeah. So
Which is an interesting topic because I think you'll see essentially professional staker, enterprises who are going to really like all of these LSDs because it just gives them access to more ETH, and they'll be able to generate returns that are higher than other people.
yeah. And so we're on the eve of Shappella. It's actually coming in, I believe, like 2-3 hours. We're right around here.
No, isn't it?
I've got to
the
count.
Shappella watch party on YouTube, and it starts in 22 minutes. But that's just the watch party. I don't know what block.
I have it here. We posted it on Leviathan News today. I've got it. But we're finally here. And FrxETH has, I guess, been a resounding success for the short time that it's been launched. It's been 6 months now, since mid-October until now. And we've really just been constantly up only since then. And there's been really good feedback. And it looks like it's been, in your opinion, how has FrxETH performed since launching?
I mean, excellent, right? So if you look at I forgot the name, but I believe it's rated. They kind of like do an analysis of all the stakers and their uptime. And I think Frax is consistently in the top 1 or 2, which is really good to see. And then in terms of growth, I think we hit all of our growth goals faster than we expected. And so, yeah, I mean, we are still the fastest growing LSD, still the highest yielding LSD. And I think, the 2-token model is just better. And, some people are upset about it, but that's just, it's just better, right? So I think, one thing that we have expertise in is stable coins, and FrxETH is the best liquid staking derivative and the best ETH peg stable coin. So,
well, I think it's not just stable coins. It's more about Frax has mastered the liquidity game and understands all the game. Essentially, like Frax understands the meta, right, of how you play the liquidity game. Of
Yeah.
How do we aggregate liquidity? Because I think like looking at Lido and Rocket Pool and then Coinbases and whatever, like Frax doesn't have to compete with them as being like the most decentralized, like largest stable coin, whatever, right? That's not what Frax is trying to do, right? And you see this with the recent announcement of the WETH replacement program, plus some of the other things that are coming with FrxETH, where Frax is just more focused on saying, hey, we see that there's going to be a switch to stake derivatives down the road. FrxETH should be the core pair that everyone pairs against, or the core asset that everyone pairs against when they're creating any sort of ETH derivative. So, like if you're Lido, Lido ETH, or if you're Rocket Pool ETH, or anything, any of these like hundreds of staking derivatives that are coming, they're all going to pair against FrxETH in Curve or in some other place in the future, and that's a win. I mean, like you become an incumbent at that point.
Yeah, I think that's right. And it really is just that's the vision we want. And I think people will start to see that that's honestly just the best thing to do. And we're going to push out a lot of sort of effort on this, the WETH replacement program. But the truth is, why would you ever pair your token with Ether when you could earn yield on the FrxETH, right?
Exactly.
So it's just it's an easy one. And so I think we'll see a lot of migration over, and we already are, right? And what's nice about that is that it's a flywheel, right? So the more people that are doing that, the more utility is, the higher the yield goes on the FrxETH. So it's
and you know what I feel about these LSDs is that like Frax is in a space where it's not like PvP. Like if I'm Rocket Pool, it's definitely PvP with Lido, right? But I don't really see us as being like PvP against the other platforms because they're all going to depend on us for liquidity. And so it's in their benefit that we get bigger and also that they get bigger as well too.
Look, and I think one thing that we really just believe at Frax, right, is that there's room for everyone, and we kind of all grow together. And there's not, we never talk about kind of like how are we going to beat someone, or how are we going to produce something better. It's more about just how do we work with these people, what can we do, and I think we've talked about that with providing pairs against all of the LSDs. And I think now on Fraxland we're about to launch some pairs where you can use Lido or Aave tokens to lever. And so I think generally speaking, we're very let's grow the pie. Let's not try and steal the pie.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing how like post Shappella comes and how much ETH is actually going to flow into FrxETH, because there's a lot, right? All the Kraken on ETH has to be unstaked. We're probably looking at like a million to $1.5 million ETH that's going to be unstaked over the next.
What's the queue at right now? I think
it's about 4,000. It's about 4,000 validators.
Not too big. So I think we're going to see. I expected it to get much bigger, but maybe people don't want to enter the queue until the upgrade's complete. Fair. But people have been talking about, oh, there's so much ETH, it's all going to be unstaked. I don't know if that's true. At least we'll find out.
Yeah,
a few hours.
I'm going to take the middle view, which is like you'll probably sell some ETH off to cover the tax implications of your staking rewards. But if you've been staking ETH for all this time, for a year or 2 years, like why would you suddenly unstake and stop staking your ETH, especially when there's like stake derivatives now where you could move your funds into if you want to be liquid. So it might even be good, right? Where like the amount of where we just don't see that much other than Kraken unstaking, and that leads to ETH, outperforming.
Yeah, I think so, right? And I think also that there's a few, right? I think Celsius had some staked ETH. There's, some of these people that were all levered long and blew up are going to now want access to those. So I think those people are going to withdraw. Although I think I looked the other day and I didn't see Celsius's staked ETH in the queue. So who knows what the bankruptcy people are doing with that. Yeah. But I think it's going to be good. We won't see any more of the LSD DPEG, which by the way, is LSD or is it LST? What's the...
I don't know. I like LSD. I like LSD because I came in to crypto through drugs, so I'm always.
Yeah, it's funny, you're talking about this stuff to other people and they're like, LSD, what? So, okay, LST. But I
Um,
think wait, did you say you liked it with a D or the T?
I don't mind it either. It could
I
be
don't
like
care
liquid
either,
staked
right?
assets or something. I don't really know. Like
Yeah.
the main thing is that like we Frax has found a space where I think it's carved out a really nice niche. And now you're seeing this kind of like if Frax was like the second wave of LSDs, now you're seeing like the third wave. You just had Manifold launch or announce theirs a few days ago. Redacted just came out with their,
Yeah, I
or
saw.
Redacted is coming out with theirs soon.
Yeah.
And so it's getting more complex and sophisticated where Frax has pretty much just said, okay, we're going to run the validators. We're using block route or blocks route to capture some of these MEV and the tips and stuff. But it's not like we're building an entire. It's not like we're trying to own the entire stack where we're like building the relay, building the blocks, and then trying to maximize value through there, which is what the third generation is now doing.
I think that's right. We'll see how this third generation kind of comes out. I think at Frax we've always been really thoughtful about what are sort of the primitives where we can exist with some type of synergy, and where we can not only where we can create value for the rest of the protocol, right? And so I
Mhm.
think we're having a hackathon soon, and we're hoping people will sort of build. Yeah, essentially use the primitives we put together now to build something cool, right? Kind of like that third layer you're talking about. But I think we've always tried to kind of, resist that urge to try and own the whole stack, because one, it's not where our expertise are, and two, it's not where we provide the most value.
Yeah, liquidity is, and it's always
Liquidity,
going to be liquidity. And like, like why
the
try to
original service of DeFi.
exactly like why try to dilute the core function of what the first word in LSD is liquid, right?
Hmm.
Like, and I think this is what a lot of the other like stake derivatives or whatever you want to call them is what they miss is they don't focus on the liquidity first. And this is what Frax did. It said like we're going to focus on we're going to focus on FrxETH being the most liquid LSD primitive out there, and it really shows in how the design works. So I hope hopefully this update goes well, doesn't break anything, and we get a nice update tomorrow that nobody's sold off, and maybe 6,000 or 10,000 validators are coming offline,
Yeah.
um, and then everything's good. So moving down the road, like what's coming for FrxETH? Like how is FrxETH going to evolve now? Now that Shappella is coming, we have full withdrawals. We're going to have a bunch of ETH flowing into these LSDs. Like what's coming for Frax?
Well, what's coming for everyone is LSD summer, right? I think that's the thing that we really believe, right? I think people, like you said, people are building this sort of version 3 or layer 3 on the staking and everything, and I think that's kind of really going to be fun to watch. In terms of Frax, right, we're building our Frax Ether V2 system, which is essentially fully permissionless, fully decentralized liquid staking system. So anybody can be a validator, and it will be kind of like opening the doors for everybody, and also being decentralized, which is always part of our vision. In the beginning, didn't make sense to start that way, but with the version 2, it'll be fully decentralized. So the operations of Frax will be kind of completely separate, or not operations of Frax, but what I mean is it'll be autonomous.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to the new governance product that's coming.
That's also very exciting. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that also, it'll be fully on-chain governance, and full voting, sort of full control to FXS holders. So, which is another thing that we're really excited about too, because up until this point, it's been an optimistic governance, and we're excited for it to be fully on-chain. So we've been working really closely with the Gnosis Safe guys, with the guys over at Tally, and kind of putting together a system which we think is very novel, and will actually kind of set the stage for a new era of governance design.
really excited for that. Once everything's blended, where you have all the validator nodes are decentralized, and then you have governance decentralized as well too. It's going to kind of like complete the system where you have the product already kind of there, and then you know have the governance there as well too, and then the nodes.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great system. So really looking forward to it.
And we can all fly on the same plane again, which will be nice. Right now we don't like all the multi-sig people are usually not in the same place. So if we have a conference or something, one person stays back and things like that, just because we don't want the whole protocol to die if we get in a plane crash or someone tries to kidnap you. It's just like there are these things that will be nice to kind of be able to stop doing.
I know. I was working at OKCoin when Star got detained, or like asked to stay at his house for 3 months, and OKX had to turn off withdrawals because their key.
They didn't have access to the key.
Yeah, their key multi-sider.
Right. And so we have a multi-sig at least, but it'll be nice to be fully decentralized. And if the core team dies in a plane crash, the protocol lives on.
So what are you most excited about for FrxETH, and what are some of the challenges coming ahead?
So I'm really excited about the design. So it's very, very, very permissionless. There's been a little bit of drama on the LSD side of crypto Twitter with Chris Black really kind of bringing the hammer down on all of these supposedly decentralized LSTs. They're not, right? You have to get information from the beacon chain. Therefore, someone somewhere is sort of intervening as a human being. And there are various levels of people to claim that they're decentralized. I think we've been really clear with our first version of FrxETH that it's not decentralized. Mm-hmm. But I'm just excited for the fact that I think this is actually one of the better ways. So it's essentially a lending pool where you, as a validator, can use your validators as collateral to borrow more Ether, and you use that Ether to stake more. And so essentially all of the yield being paid to FrxETH is fully a function of that borrowing market, as opposed to the operations of the Frax team or anything like that, right? And the remember I mentioned before that all liquid staking tokens have this sort of situation, but the transfer of data from the beacon chain to mainnet has to happen somehow. And all the other chains are doing. They have a MSIG. Sorry, there's a fly here. I apologize. I had the doors open. It's summer, so fly got in. But no, the important thing is that we're going to do that all via governance. So all those beacon chain updates will be subject to governance, and as opposed to just a multi-sig, right? So that's one really big upgrade. And then the idea that all of this yield is a function of the borrowing markets, not the operations of the Frax team, really put us in a good spot for decentralization. And just to sort of caveat all of this, if the sort of beacon oracle, as we call it, which is run by governance, dies, right, then it's okay. The system lives on and can operate still. So I think it's really hits all of the points for decentralization, and I'm really excited for us to be able to open that up to anybody to validate and get in on that. And we think it's a pretty elegant design that really separates out the operations of the protocol and the core team and stuff from the generation of the yield. So will be exciting.
I think there's some tidbits in there that we're going to have to pull out and look deeper into. So.
All right.
Let's wrap it up there. That was a nice quick roundup of everything that's happened with FrxETH since its launch. Drake, thank you so much for coming on, and we're going to have you back once you and Sam are ready to talk about Frax V3.
Exciting. Very exciting. Yeah, we would. That'll be great.
Awesome.
As always, it's great to chat.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool.